Once upon a time, in a cozy little house filled with sunshine and laughter, lived a curious little girl named Mira. Mira had bouncy curls, sparkling eyes, and a heart full of adventure. She loved exploring every nook and cranny of her home, especially when the grown-ups were busy.
To her, the house was a giant treasure map, and she was the world's greatest explorer.
One sunny afternoon, Mom was on the phone, and Dad was typing away on his computer.
The house was quiet, a little too quiet for Mira. Her little feet tiptoed into the kitchen. Her eyes scanned the room, searching for a new adventure.
And then she saw it.
On the counter, just within her reach, was a big, tempting jar of colorful cookies. There were chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal cookies with raisins, and her favorite, the ones with rainbow sprinkles.
Wow, she whispered, her eyes wide with delight.
A mischievous thought popped into her head. Mom and Dad are busy, she thought.
Just one little cookie won't hurt. It'll be a secret mission.
With all her might, she pushed a small stool towards the counter.
Up she climbed, her little hands reaching for the jar. But the jar was heavier than she thought.
As she tried to lift the lid, the jar tipped over.
Cookies tumbled out,
scattering all over the kitchen floor like a delicious, crumbly avalanche.
Rainbow sprinkles decorated the tiles like confetti. Mira gasped, looking at the beautiful, yummy mess. Just then, her eyes landed on something even more exciting in the corner of the kitchen. A set of brand-new paints Dad had bought for a weekend project. Bright red, sunny yellow, and a brilliant blue, all lined up like soldiers. Ooh, colors!
Myra giggled.
The cookie mission was forgotten.
A new, more colorful adventure was about to begin.
She grabbed the blue paint, her fingers smudging the bright color.
Let me try something fun, she thought with a grin.
Mira imagined herself as a famous artist.
The kitchen floor was her canvas.
She dipped her little fingers into the blue paint and started drawing a big, swirly ocean.
Blue waves crashed against the kitchen cabinets. Then she added a bright yellow sun, a big, smiling sun, right in the middle of her blue sea. The floor was starting to look like a masterpiece, but it needed more. A fish. A big red fish.
She opened the red paint and plopped her whole hand into it.
She giggled as the cool paint squished between her fingers. She stamped a perfect red handprint on the floor. "Hello, Mr. Fish," she chirped. Soon the kitchen floor was a wild, wonderful rainbow of color. Blue oceans, yellow suns, and red fish swam alongside scattered cookies and sprinkles. Mira, now covered in paint from her cheeks to her toes, stood back to admire her work.
She clapped her paint-covered hands, sending little droplets of color flying through the air.
It was the most beautiful mess she had ever seen. She even decided one of the oatmeal cookies looked like a boat and set it sailing on her blue-pink ocean. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. It was Mom, finished with her phone call. "Mira, what are you up to, sweetie?"
Mom walked into the kitchen and stopped, her eyes wide with surprise.
Her mouth opened, but no words came out.
She just looked at the cookies, the paint, the sprinkles, and her very colorful daughter standing proudly in the middle of it all.
Dad, hearing the silence, came to see what was happening.
He peeked into the kitchen and his jaw dropped.
"Whoa!" was all he could say.
Seeing their surprised faces, Mira's happy smile slowly faded.
She looked down at her paint-covered hands and the colorful floor. It didn't seem as fun anymore.
She felt a little flutter of nervousness in her tummy.
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all.
She looked up at her parents with big, worried eyes, her bottom lip starting to tremble.
I was making art. she whispered shyly. Mom knelt down, careful to avoid the paint. She didn't look angry, just surprised. She gently wiped a smudge of blue paint from Myra's cheek. "Oh, honey," she said in a soft, calm voice. "It's a very creative piece of art. But paint belongs on paper, not the floor. And we need to ask before we take cookies from the jar. Remember, Dad knelt down too." "We love that you're an artist, Mira," he said, smiling kindly. "But this can make the floor slippery and hard to clean." "It is important to ask first, so we can set up a special place for you to paint." Mira nodded, understanding. It wasn't about getting in trouble. It was about being safe and keeping the house tidy. A little tear rolled down her paint-streaked cheek. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. Mom pulled her into a warm hug. "Not minding the paint. It's okay, sweetie. We all make messes sometimes. The important thing is that we help clean them up." And that's exactly what they did. Dad got a bucket of warm, soapy water, and Mom found some. They gave a small sponge to Mira. At first, she just pushed the paint around, making new murky colors. But then, she started to get the hang of it. She scrubbed at the yellow sun, giggling as it disappeared under the bubbles. Dad started singing a silly clean-up song. And soon they were all singing and scrubbing together. Wiping up the mess turned into a new kind of game. Mom even pretended to slip on a soap bubble, making Mira laugh out loud. After a lot of scrubbing and splashing, the kitchen floor was sparkling clean again. The paints were put away safely, and the leftover cookies were gathered up. Everyone was a little wet and a little tired, but they were all smiling. Dad lifted Mira up and spun her around. "You are the best little helper," he declared. Mom kissed her forehead. "And the best little artist." They all sat down on the clean floor, and Mom gave Mira one of the sprinkle cookies. "Next time you feel like an adventure, just come and tell us, okay?" she said. "We can have an art adventure together with lots of paper." Mira took a big bite of her cookie and nodded, her eyes shining. "Okay, Mummy." She had learned a big lesson that day. Adventures are even more fun when you share them. The house was once again filled with a sound of laughter, ending the day with warm hugs, happy smiles, and the sweet taste of a well-earned cookie. Thanks for watching our story. If you enjoyed Mira's adventure, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fun stories. See you next time!